Good morning everyone, and welcome to another walk with Azra, but this one is a little bit different because as we're walking I'm going to be talking to you about our week away to Centre Parcs, giving a review of things we did, and hopefully so that helps other people when they are making their decision. But I thought I'd do two birds with one stone and continue on getting the exercise from the week away. Alright, we'll crack on. Okay, so obviously the first day being travel day, we left home about 9:15, and got everything sort of packed up in the car. We took the dogs with us as well, as you might have seen from some of the vlogs that we've done, so they took up well over half the car, from the point of view of it on the back seat, so you know, we had to make sure everything pretty much fitted in nicely, which it did just about. It was a bit tight and I was a bit concerned, but it all went in. Once we were there, we got to the check-in security lodge. That was all pretty painless. We had the experience of going to Elvedon last year, and we were very fortunate there where when we checked in we were able to park the car straight outside the lodge, and there it stayed until we were allowed to go into the lodge and then take the car back once it was all unpacked. This time we had to park in the main car park, which was fine. That is obviously the rules, so you can't moan against that. We were just fortunate last year. But they started letting cars in about 3:30, so I got the car around that time. Got everything unpacked at the lodge. I think it was back at the car park by 4:30, and it was really beginning to get quite busy with people getting their cars then, so very pleased we did that. So little first tip: start looking at getting your car about 3:30. You really do get ahead of the curve if you do that. Obviously once you're there on travel day, especially when you've got the dogs, you are limited to what you can do. Although most places you can take the dogs, although you can't go in, you can eat out on the sort of terrace areas, so, but sort of activity wise you are limited as to what you can do. So we basically made use, we were lucky with the weather actually. We had a nice walk round the waterfront up to the lodge to see where it was, and then we sort of lost time at Starbucks on the beach at the waterfront, and then sort of by that time it was time to, you know, go to get the car and what have you. So it felt like a long time, essentially 4 to 5 hours, but after walking around and chilling out and people watching, it does go. But my advice is, if you've got younger children, is, you know, book some activities, or there are the parks for the kids as well, because if you don't have the early check-in at 2, that's a lot of time to occupy the kids. Free internet in most places around the park, so again, you've got the Wi-Fi with the internet, if that helps the kids with sort of programs they might like, downloaded, whatever. So there is stuff to do, but if we were going to go back, which I'll come on to at the end, and didn't go with the dogs, maybe we would book something just to sort of break it up a little bit on travel day. In the evening on travel day, we went to the sports cafe. It's sort of like a Wetherspoons, I think that's the best way to describe it. The food was absolutely fine. They didn't have what I wanted, so I had my second choice, which is absolutely fine. Big portions, or certainly mine was. Then it was sort of a reasonably early night, early finish. On essentially day 2, because I called it travel day 1. On day 2, I did my sort of tour of the park. And by that, left the lodge, went up towards where the swimming pool was in one of the sort of villages, which is also where Huck's is, Cafe Rouge, some of the shops, the entertainment hub, bowling, that sort of stuff. Then went up to the plaza, round the waterfront, and then back round. So I tried to show you as much as I could, you know, at the crazy time of day it was, which is about 5:30, 6 o'clock, but there wasn't a single person out and about, so that was great. A bit like when I do these walks in the morning, it's absolutely great, you don't see hardly anyone, and that's the perfect time to do this sort of thing. From there we did the adventure golf, which is a 9-hole sort of pitch and putt, sort of mini golf sort of thing. Julia and James absolutely pulled my pants down on that golf course. I was awful, and considering I'm the only one that actually plays golf properly, it was quite humiliating, to be honest with you. But hey ho, it was good fun. Everyone enjoyed it. We started to get a little bit of rain whilst we were playing golf, but because you're under the canopy of the forest, it didn't really matter, to be honest with you. So that was good. I think we then went back to the lodge to have some lunch, had something to eat, chilled out, and then James did the adventure treetop sort of highline experience. I can't remember the exact thing it's called, but I think if you look on their blurb you'll see the one. You sort of go around the top of the treetops and then you get the high line across the lake, rather him than me, and he really enjoyed it. Again, you'll see all that on the day 2 vlog, which is out on YouTube already, been watched by a few, and I did do a short of the highline descent. So that was that, and then in the evening we went to Cafe Rouge, probably the best dinner we had whilst we were there. I had a nice steak, James had his traditional mac and cheese, and I think he had some chips as well, and for a minute I can't even think what Julia had, so I'm sorry about that. There is a short, I think, of that evening with what we all had, so if you are that interested, the short is out there or coming out very soon. Day 3, I did another walk around the park, some of the bits that I hadn't done sort of the previous day, and then we went out on the electric speedboats, which was good fun. We all got to have a drive, saw the swans with their cygnets and then the ducks with the ducklings. That was all very, very nice, and we were very lucky that day. The weather was probably one of the better days we had when we were there, although it did rain in the afternoon, which it wasn't predicted to do, so that was annoying, but it didn't sort of stop us doing anything. We also found an amazing, there's 4 dog parks there, but we found the best one. That was our closest one as well, funnily enough. When I say close, it was probably about a 5-minute walk, so no distance at all. But again, on the vlog, you'll see exactly what I mean. It was huge, and the dogs absolutely loved it. Ralph and Azra very rarely come off the lead when we go out, especially Azra. Her recall still needs a lot of work, but she's getting there. But I absolutely loved it. It was great exercise, very chilled out. They did sort of mingle at times with other dogs, and it was quite nice. And then I want to say we did something else on day 3, and I really can't remember. I know we went to, oh yes I do remember, I'll come on to it. We went to Hucks, Hucks, the American diner, which was, again, I had a New York strip, which was a 10-ounce steak, which was lovely. I did enjoy it. I think Julia had the ribs, and then James had the mac and cheese and chips. His portion wasn't great, that was his comment, which I was quite surprised about in an American place, but it is an American place in England. If you go to an American place in America, the portions are massive, which I think we can all vouch for if we've had the chance to go there. Again, the meal was alright. And then, this is what I couldn't remember, we went to play pickleball, which is a little bit between sort of tennis and badminton. Now, I actually think it's similar to paddle, which I've seen the Formula 1 drivers playing, and that's sort of what it reminded me of actually. But I was knackered, and just a little bit of a tip for you guys, walls don't move. I can vouch for that. And when you're running around in a pair of jeans, everything tightens up and walls hurt. So go easy, don't hurt yourself. But good fun. I can't show you that because I got copyrighted on it because of the bloody music that was playing in there. So that's a shame, because I did about half an hour of that. But yeah, I got copyrighted on it, so I had to reduce the day 3 vlog, unfortunately, because of that. So that's a shame. I can just tell you about it. Day 4, which was when was that? Well, it was Thursday. I've lost track of days now. On Thursday I did the forest walk. Now, I don't know whether all the lodges will have this, but because we were in a dog friendly lodge, we had this sort of dog sort of leaflet brochure, I don't know what you want to call it, and on the back of it, it had this sort of forest walk sort of route round the park. I thought it was quite good. It wasn't as forestified as I expected it to be. In fact, it was probably the only the last, probably third that was forestified. The rest of it was sort of making use of the roads around the park. But it was good. It was good to, you got to see more of the park than you would have. Dogs got some exercise. We split it up by stopping at the plaza for breakfast. Annoyingly, although they said they opened at 8, they didn't start serving breakfast till 9. So what we did was we made use of the time and took the dogs back to the lodge, gave them their breakfast, and then we went back there on our way to our next experience, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Breakfast in Sports Cafe was good, enjoyed that. James and Julia, well, and me, latterly we went to the arcade, which is adjoining to the Sports Cafe, which was good fun. James had to go in a basketball game, and I trounced him at air hockey, which again, all those videos and shorts are out there, so feel free to have a look. All good fun. And then from there we walked to the Segway experience. Now that was amazing. Just give me a sec, guys, because this was all cut back last week by some volunteers, and then I think some idiot has either chopped this down or something, so I'm going to try and move it to one side, or it's broken. Yeah, it looks like it's broken. Just come round, just come round. So I don't know whether someone's done that deliberately, but that's a shame. Looked like a good thriving tree. Yeah, the Segway experience, really, really good. You know, they gave you the sort of tutorial before you started, got you a little bit of experience. Muggins here was the only one that crashed in the practice arena, but I'd rather practice a crash in the practice bit than out on the road. But yeah, once you got used to them, which I think James picked up very, very well, very, very quickly. In fact, it was noted by the instructor that he was probably the best out there. 5 of us that were out. You know what kids are like, they've got no fear. He was just flying off. But he was, you know, that was really good. Then once we were out on the road, it was quite nice, quite nice. You know, breeze. They only were going probably sort of 5-6 miles an hour to start with. You then up the speed limit after the assault course. And James was sort of leading the pack along with the instructor, and he was absolutely loving it. I think it was at that point the instructor sort of said how well James had been getting on. None of us in our party had done it before, so that was quite good. We didn't have any people that had done it before that thought they knew more than they did, any of that. It was just quite a relaxed group, which was great for us and really, really enjoyable. Again, there is a little short out there of James doing the assault course at a decent lick, and then the whole experience is also coming out next week on one of the videos. I think it's I can't remember, Wednesday or Thursday next week, but I would definitely recommend that. Obviously I think the minimum age is either 12 or 14. You'd need to check that, but obviously James was perfectly alright to do it, and yeah, we all really, really enjoyed it. It was good. From there we made our way back to the lodge, had some lunch, started doing some packing. I then said to Julia and James, shall we go swimming, which Julia was sort of doing packing up and what have you, so she could take it or leave it. James and me went. That was good. We were in there for about an hour and a half. There at times are some stupid kids in that swimming pool. I use a DJI Action 4 with the floating handle. I would never in a million years have taken this in the swimming pool. You know, especially on the slides where it can knock around, hit you or other people. And there was a kid in there with that on the rapids. The worst ones have it on, where you're not in control. And the lifeguards either didn't see it, or they didn't want to do something about it. So that is something, if anyone from Centre Parcs is watching, to be aware of. We then went bowling in the evening. Again, masterclass from James. Really did well that evening. We then went back to Huck's to get the milkshakes there, which I can't remember the exact terminology, but the milkshakes are £8.50 each. Now I can assure you I've had better milkshakes in McDonald's or the local cafe than there, for a lot cheaper as well. I'm pleased we did it because we all sort of wanted to do it. We all had, there were 3 flavours and we had one of each. I think Julia had the salted caramel, James had the chocolate, and I had the strawberry. And then yesterday morning, coming home day, I went to get the car. I think I left the lodge at 5. Was back at the lodge by 5:30 with the car. Started packing up. You can stay in the park until midnight on your coming home day. I can't believe anyone would stay that late if you've got to get home. We are very lucky. The two centre parks we've been to are very close. I say very close, probably no more than 3/4 of an hour to an hour each way. Obviously we're near Cambridge, we had the one in Elvedon near Thetford, and then obviously the one in Woburn near Milton Keynes, which is the one we went to this week just gone. So my honest review, as a whole, it was a really good week. You know, we fitted in a lot. I think we all hopefully would have lost a little bit of weight with the amount of walking we've been doing collectively. It's hard work, and that's what I will say at Woburn. If you are an older person, and I'm trying to put this in the most diplomatic and correct way, if you're an older person or struggle to get around, maybe Woburn isn't the best place for you. From the point of view, it is very hilly. And I don't say that lightly, guys. You know, I'm not the fittest person, but I can still get around. I do these walks with the dog every morning. I'm not unfit, but you know, it's hard work. Thetford was completely flat for the most part, so that would be the place to go to for ease of getting around. That's not to say that Woburn wasn't good, because as I said, for the most part it was fantastic, and we had a really good, you know, week there. You know, all the experiences we did were great, and you know, we really enjoyed ourselves. Food was good in all the places, so yeah, as a whole, definitely recommend it. If you struggle to get around, you go to Thetford. I would recommend the two we've done recently, but overall really good. As I say, I hope this helps our people. Subscribe and like the channel. Thanks a lot.